evening, everyone. It is Gavin Seim here live. If you're watching this live right now, thank you all for your support. Shout out to everybody as you pop in there. I do want to jump right in today because I don't want this video to go too long. It is after 10 o'clock here, and I want to do a quick, practical, realistic show, but that also you guys might find a little bit entertaining today. So everybody pop in there. Good evening and hello to you all. Okay, free speech. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about free speech. What does it mean, right? We have the First Amendment, and that protects the right to assemble, the right to your religion, right? The right to the press. You have a right to petition your government for redress of grievances, all these things. Good evening, everybody. Shout out to all of you. So what does your free speech mean? This seems to keep coming up, and it comes up with people who are actually violating others, and they try to use free speech against them. But I've always been a staunch advocate of people being able to use their mouths to speak the truth or to use their mouths to lie and make idiots of themselves, because we'll all account for our actions in the end, and a lot of times we'll account for them before the end. What is your right to free speech? We could talk about the First Amendment and the Constitution, which has an amendment to protect free speech. But I think it's important, and I say this a lot, constitutions don't grant rights. So while it's valuable to know the constitutions, okay? It's valuable to know the civil laws that we're dealing with. That doesn't make those actual law. The civil statutes and laws and regulations and code books, they're only law when they recognize and defend our rights. Just like a police officer is only law enforcement when they defend our rights and oppose those who are trampling them, which none of them do, which is why we don't have law enforcement in the USA. We have a blue ISIS cartel who follows orders to abuse, extort, rob, kidnap, cheat, and otherwise destroy freedom. But what about that free speech thing? Well, there was a thread on this channel, and the reason I'm doing this today is because I actually have an example for you today, all right? I made a post on the community section of this channel today, and I said, go and report if you guys want to help out. Go report this channel who's constantly stealing my videos so they can mock and slander me and my family. This is a channel that's posted everything from stealing my videos verbatim to taking my head and putting it on male rape scenes in movies, and then putting that out there and saying, oh, I'm just poking fun at Gavin Seim. This is a channel called Goblin Seaman. Now, the name in itself is offensive, and I want to give these trolls as little attention as possible because they deserve none. But in the context of free speech, I think it's important to look at the people who pretend to use rights as a way to violate the rights of others. So I told you guys to go check out this YouTube channel today, and people started reporting it, okay? And so here's the result of that. Now, here's what's going on. This account has been terminated because it received multiple third-party claims of third-party infringement. Now, the reason I bring this up in the topic of free speech is because someone stealing your material that your energy is made, somebody stealing your intellectual property, your copyrights, right? Somebody stealing your work to then try and turn that work around and use it against you. Somebody stealing your words to try and then use your own words to defame and slander and endanger your family. That's not free speech. That's stealing someone else's speech. Now, if we go, and I want to be clear about this, there's many people, there's pages that talk about me, there's videos, there's channels like this that are dedicated to making fun of me, okay? You have that right. If somebody wants to go and make a video about Gavin Seim and say, I think what Gavin stands for is a fraud. I think Gavin is a fraud. I think Gavin is a crook, right? They can say all these things. Of course, they never have proof because it's not true. It's just creating lies and noise, and they think if they do it enough that it will change the narrative. And if we allow that, sometimes it does. But we don't with these trolls because they're not good enough to actually take the narrative. They actually don't have a message. The government is professionals at it. And some of these trolls do work for the government, but I think they must be pretty low on the pay grade because they're not very confident. But nonetheless, they're still taking this stuff. Now, if you go, there's another Goblin Seaman account, all right? And that's this account here. This is a Twitter account. It's incredible. You do have to wonder if these people are getting paid, because these people have literally, they post more than I do about me. There could be dozens of posts about me, about other people who have stood up for freedom, about Schaefer Cox is in prison. They take photos of my kids, Kelly Stewart's kids. They post addresses. They try and get us in trouble with government officials. They post photos of our children. They make memes and posters. They mock people like John Lamb, who are in the hospital from injuries in their car accidents. They take photos. These are photos of my daughter that and my brother's kids that they stole from our pages to then go on here and mock our family, all right? So they go through Kelly Stewart, but people have a right to their opinion, right? And that's why we're using this in the context, right? They're very angry, by the way, that you guys started reporting them today. In fact, they posted the thread where I posted, where a lot of you guys were on earlier today. They're very upset. But, here's photos. Now, it's important to notice, whose speech do you see here? Almost everything they do on this page has stolen mine, mostly mine, sometimes other people's content, stolen my work to defame me. Now, generally speaking, I let people take my stuff and not make that big of a deal about it. Doesn't mean I approve about it, but I don't go to war with everybody. When someone is making a concerted effort to the tune of hundreds of videos and a dozen posts a day to actively try to harm my family, and that's what this person has done, okay? And it's probably one of these trolls in the community, but here's the thing. What I'm doing right now is exercising my right to speech. As you guys have seen with me, that right was not free at all. It cost me becoming an exile because I spoke up and I stood up for the rule of law. It cost me having to leave the USA to stay out of a concentration camp, all right? And so these people who are such cowards that they can't even speak with their own name, right? And this is probably why there will be no response and why this channel will be taken down, because for these trolls to dispute these legitimate infringements where they stole our content, posting whole videos verbatim on their channel so that they can mock us and try and gain a fan base against the rule of law that I speak for, they won't show their face. In order to actually contest that the stuff they've stolen is not stolen, they have to give their name. And it's important to note that these trolls, and this has been going on for years as they've put out people like this week, they were putting out Kelly Stewart's home address. They post photos of like her children's bedrooms, okay? They give out her husband's phone number at work so that they can be harassed. And then they say, oh, Gavin calls the police, so I guess we should call and harass their families too. And they don't even understand that they truly are mentally ill. These people are psychopaths. They're blue ISIS psychopaths. But that's not actually the topic today. Thank you all for pitching in, by the way. But as these people go and they make things like this, okay? This is the kind of character that these people have. This is the kind of stuff they make, all right? Now, if somebody wants to make offensive things and they steal my logo, they take my photos, and at some point, like, okay, somebody might say, well, satire is speech. Sure. If you're creating content and you want to speak out against others and you want to use your voice to speak out against others, that's your right. The right to speech is your right. But it's really not free. It comes with a cost. But more importantly, your rights end where another person's begin. So while the trolls have a right to mock me and my family on the internet and try and defame the rule of law, the Constitution, and those who stand up for it, because they're loyalist trolls bent on destroying freedom and filling the for-profit prisons. Because these cowards want to go do that. They can do that. But that doesn't mean they can take your effort, the fruit of your labors, your work, your media, and take that and use that. Is there such a thing as fair use in news? Yes. This isn't it. People taking your content and your videos to harm your business, your family, your life, your security. Okay, these are people that are out posting, and you can go look at this account. I don't need to give them any more attention, but these are people that are even loosely related to me. They're out making fake reviews on their businesses. They're trying to harm their livelihoods. Guys, there's a victim in this. And as these people get on their page and backpedal because now they're getting called out on it, as these people do this, and they're saying, oh, we never did anything, that's not true. These people posted private information. They tried to call government officials to get us harassed. They sought out addresses that they thought were our locations so they could put it out to the public in hopes of causing us harm. These people are messed up. And I don't hold a grudge against these people that are so filled with hate that they just have no concept of right and wrong. I don't hold a grudge, but you don't get to just take my stuff, my words, cut them up, mix them up to try to make me look like a psychopath. That's not free speech. You want to have free speech? Go for it. Put your face out there just like me and speak. But there's another topic to this free speech, because people will often say, well, I have a right to tell you whatever I want. I have a right to say about you whatever I want. Okay, sure. And they say Gavin's against free speech because he blocks people from his page and his YouTube channel. And this is where we have an important understanding. Your right to speech is your right to speech. But someone's right to tell you to shut up and get out of their living room is also their right. If you're on my lawn, if you're on my living room, you have a right to speak, and I also have a right to throw you out. So what you see is these blue ISIS, government worshiping statist underminers of freedom trying to destroy the Constitution. What you see is them always trying to use our words against us. We promote justice and peace, and they promote violence and say that we're violent. We promote speech, and they try to silence our speech and say that we're silencing them because we won't allow them to come into our living room and sling vulgarities at our children. We promote the rule of law, and they say that we're anarchists because we do that. And this person's account in particular, these accounts have been stealing videos, content, defaming people, putting out personal information, John Lamb, the Bundys, all these people, right? And we don't know exactly who there are, but there is a consistent pattern of trolls, some of which have turned out to be informants, like the Lauders, the Brookshire, these people that turned out to be some of them actively working for the government, Terry Linnell, people who are actually paid government informants. And so we see these people out there trying to undermine and build a following. What they're really doing is they work for the enemy. They're the loyalists. They're trying to destroy the rule of law. And to do so, they're breaking the law and violating the rights of others because they have no qualms about violating others. They are on the side of a terrorist government that lives and maintains its power by violating others. So what is your free speech? Your free speech is your right to say what you want. It's your right to speak out. And as long as you're not violating and harming and causing damage to another person through that speech, there's no victim, and therefore there is no crime. And it's appalling when we see people going to jail for their speech, which is what these people actually support. These people are on here encouraging the imprisonment of people like me, Josh Martinez, the Moneys, for exercising their speech and trying to defend their rights. So you have people that have the gall to hide behind their fake profiles and stolen images and say that we want to silence their speech when they are literally trying to get people and getting people sent to prison for using their speech in a peaceful manner. Your right is to speak your mind. And if you lie and if you defame and if you create victims by speaking, You may have had the right to say it, but you also can be held accountable for those victims that you created. That's natural law. You don't need a constitution for your right to work, your right to travel, your right to eat, your right to life, liberty, property, family. You don't need government's permission. You don't need their statutes and their laws to speak your mind. But if you want freedom, you have to understand that everything you do has consequences. I know when I'm on video like this, that if the wrong word comes out, if I scratch my face or scrub my hair the wrong way, there are people who appear to have a full-time job of going through and looking for ways that they can steal that content, take it out of context, mix it up, and do whatever they can to try and use it to mock, defame, and damage my life. Is that free speech? Well, they have a right to speak, but they don't have a right to steal. All right, guys, that is free speech in a nutshell. You always have the right to speak against government. You always have the right to film. That is your speech. But if you're in someone else's living room, this doesn't mean the police station, because that's not someone's living room. If you're in someone else's living room, they do have the right to ask you to leave. And so when I kick the trolls and the fake accounts and the informants and they're trolling and defaming and making up lies and I block them from this channel or my page, that's actually me exercising my right to speech and to not have my speech silenced in my living room. If they want to go to their living room and make their speech, they can do that. But let it be their speech, not the speech that they stole from my channel. All right, thank you guys. I'm going to end this one right away so that we can wrap it up. It's late. I wanted to talk about free speech. I'll put this one in the legal archives here on the channel because I think we kind of covered some natural law topics. And there is a whole category on the homepage of the channel for things where we're discussing law and human rights. If you guys want to learn more about that, subscribe to this channel, go to that category on the channel. Thank you all. Peace. Love your neighbor. Stand up. Resist tyranny. Thank you all.